Hi everyone, George here. We've had some feedback from you about the podcast being a bit quiet compared to other videos and podcasts you're listening to, so we've used some software to equalise it, and hopefully that will improve the listening experience. So if you're listening to this as part of a playlist, you might want to turn it down, as the podcast will be a bit louder from here on out, or if this is the first video you're watching or first podcast you're listening to, and this is a bit quiet, that's a good thing, because I'm about to turn the volume up. Thank you again so much for listening, and we hope you enjoy the show. Hello everyone, welcome to NintenDormant, the podcast where we discuss Nintendo games that have been left on the shelf. I'm your host George Banks, and joining me this week, no you don't have deja vu, it's Josh Goldie. Josh, hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me back on again.
Thank you for being
talking about
here.
Mario this time, right? That's why I came dressed up like this.
Yeah, finally bring him back.
Bring him
too
back.
long.
He's dressed for it.
That's it.
And joining Josh this week, no you're not suffering from deja vu, it's John Cartwright. John, hello.
I'm filled with so much fear. Last time Josh annihilated me in the trivia round. And being back on the same panel with him is a big mistake.
I've made it really hard because I know you two are big fans of the game we've got today. And the game we're talking about this week, no, you're not suffering from deja vu, is the mysterious... No, that's not true. It's the game that we promised we would talk about. But before we get into that, the big difference between last week and this week is that we've had the reveal of the Switch 2. So I think you guys called it the Mario Kart game. Well done, a fantastic prediction. Now that the dust has settled a little bit, obviously you've talked about it online on BlueSky, you've done videos, but we've had a little bit of time with it now. What is your kind of feeling about the reveal and the console itself, John?
Well, they're doomed, aren't they?
It's going to be less than Wii U numbers, I think.
Yeah. It's the name's fault. They should have called it the Switch U.
Yeah, that would have changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's like, the reveal was very much this is the console. We'll show you it when we want to show you it in April. But I think it was fine for what it was. It's a bigger Switch. It's got Mario Kart. There's definitely a lot of cards being held to their chest, but I'm feeling it though. I'm feeling better now than I was when it first aired.
Yeah. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm just really glad that it's been revealed. I was just getting really sick of the constant, today's the day, and then it doesn't happen. Well, today's definitely the day, and it's been going on since like September. It's like
it's only been going on for 2.5
insane.
years, Josh. I think you're being.
Well, if we go back to Switch Pro, then it's been going on since 2020.
So yeah, I'm just glad about that. I want to see more of it. Obviously, I kind of expect it to be just a big version of the Switch.
Yeah.
The colors are cool. Like, I'm really curious how they're going to do other Joy-Con colors, because I think people buy the Joy-Con colors for how flashy and different they are. They can't just have all these ones be black.
Yeah.
And then the inside change. That's not massively a selling point, is it? So,
right, and where the rails usually are on the actual physical unit, they're red and blue as well. It's like, how's that working?
Oh yeah, because they're not going to be different units, presumably that you could pop on that are going to match the Joy-Con. So
if you buy a new Joy-Con, you have to buy a new Switch too. That's it.
They give you little stickers to put on the inside.
You've got to carefully peel it.
Maybe because the Joy-Cons aren't like colourful and exuberant this time, maybe they can't call them Joy-Con. Maybe they were called Dull-Cons because they're just sort of one matte colour with a sort of a slightly embellished inside.
That's how they'll differentiate them at game.
Yeah.
To make sure that people don't accidentally buy Joy-Cons when they need Dull-Cons.
They'll call them Mag-Cons, and then they'll sue Magfest. Even though they've been going on for longer.
Genius. The Nintendo lawyers, they think of everything, these guys. The other big difference as well is that, John, I know that you've recently just done a motion capture course. So how was that?
It was exhausting, but it was great, though. I don't really exercise much, so I'm just feeling it everywhere. My neck is it's dead. But it was so much fun. You and I were talking about this a little bit yesterday. I did a lot of acting as a kid and teenager. Yes. Never like any actual productions, but a lot of school stuff. And I've not really done that in about 15 years.
Wow.
A lot of it's just been kept to voice acting, which is still a fairly recent thing for me. And so to step into a stage with actual other actors who have been acting and studying acting was very intimidating. But it felt natural, though. It was a lot of fun just to sort of learn the craft and make mistakes, but sort of bounce back from them. I want to do more of it. I'm just sort of thinking about going back and trying to nail actual performance capture roles.
Fantastic.
I said this to you too. It's really similar to theatre.
Yeah.
In the actual execution of it, just there's no audience.
Yeah. How many times did you do the T-pose throughout the day?
Oh, so much. And sometimes you're left doing the T-pose, and the engineers are middling in the background. They forget they've asked you to T-pose, and so you're just stuck like this for a few minutes until they remember you.
Don't move. What would Josh? If you could put John in any game, what would be your sort of ideal role that you'd cast him in for mocap?
Well, I've been saying it a few times now. It's got to be Just Dance, right?
Yeah.
I need to see John break a move.
Excellent.
Yep. My dance skills are you couldn't believe them. They're something else.
You are a dad, so you have the dad dancing genes. It's just basically when you become a father, those genes kind of just shoot through your system.
You just get it.
You just get it,
and everybody stares because they're so impressed.
Yeah, that's why.
That's what I've heard. Just Dance 2026 dad dancing version with John Cartwright. You've heard it here first, guys. Well, you know what? That's a game that I would play, but we're going to play another little game right now. Yes, it's time for the NintenDormant Quickfire quiz. 5 punchy questions. I'm taking this off. If you're just watching, I was wearing a pink cape. It was meant to sort of look menacing and threatening like I'm a boxer, but it's got a big bunny on the front of it, and bunny ears. I look more like Link in the Dark World than I do Little Mac, but there we go. 5 questions. Fastest finger first for those questions, followed by play or pass for double points. As always, I will let my guests pick their buzzer noise. So, Josh, what's going to be your buzzer this week?
Last time I did Wario's laugh, so I'm gonna keep the theme going.
Okay.
I want Wario to say "Oh baby" every time I press the button.
Is that?
It's in Mario. Yes, it's in Mario Party and Mario Kart. I think he said it since like Mario Golf, maybe even earlier than that.
This is iconic catchphrase.
Iconic catchphrase. Oh baby.
So iconic that I can't picture it in my head. Just like a sort of oh baby. Maybe I can.
Don't worry.
Maybe I can. John, I mean, your buzzers, I don't know if you can get more ridiculous than the last ones you did, but you're welcome to try.
Can I have the sound of the Wii reading a disc, but turned up like a few decibels? Because it's quite quiet, but like just, you know, when the Wii takes the disc and it goes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I have a Wii active in my house, so I'm going to be walking around like those old school filmmakers with a little mic, just trying to capture that noise.
Yeah, that might not be a sound that's readily available online. So maybe I should give you one that you don't have to source yourself.
I can do it.
If you're up for doing that, let's do it.
Wii BIOS sounds. I'm sure they're up there.
You've already asked me to get a page gently turning, so this is nothing. Okay, everybody. So if we're ready, time for question 1. Fastest finger first. Fingers on buzzers, please.
Okay.
All right.
Punch-Out has a diverse roster of returning characters, but what is the name of the series' most common first opponent? Oh, it's John.
Glass Joe.
It's Glass Joe. Do you know his?
yeah.
Do you remember his nationality?
Is he French?
He is because he's French. When you knock him out, croissants explode from him.
Yes.
As is common with all French people. It's I think we're probably gonna get into Punch-Out's issues with stereotypes a little bit later on. But
I do have a funny stereotypical French story. So my wife and I went to France before COVID broke out.
Right.
And just as we stepped off the Eurostar, the first person we saw in the streets of France was a woman holding a paper bag with a big baguette coming out. Yeah. That's just our first impression of France.
Did you ask her for a picture? Like, no, please, you don't understand. Please, can I just? Did she also have a garland of garlic, or was it just the baguette?
It was just the baguette,
wow.
And I should have asked her for a picture, but I don't think she'd understand what I'm saying.
No, okay, that's fair enough. Oh, typical English person that you just spoke
Le
English.
picture?
Yeah,
Le
exactly. Your dad genes are really kicking in, John. You're doing a great job. Question 2, if we're ready. In the arcade versions of Punch-Out, what is the colour of the player character's hair? Oh, baby! Josh?
It's in the arcade versions. It's black.
It's not.
I thought it was black as well.
Yeah.
Not in the original arcade version, unless I've done my classic thing and messed up the quiz. No,
Because he's got a wireframe green body, and then
but on his little picture up on the screen.
oh, blonde.
Oh,
Nope.
Right, not blonde.
Nope.
I don't.
Can I
don't.
Can I go again then? Is it brown?
It's green.
Oh, it is just green. Oh,
You're right, it is green.
I should have just gone with green.
It's such a weird choice. He looks like an off-brand Millhouse. It's terrible. It's terrible. And I was thinking like maybe it's because they're on a black card, like they're sort of black background. No, it's not. It's like a light color.
Yeah.
They've picked green.
Weird. I'm trying to, because I guess Smash Brothers has ruined my perception of that. Because I'm just like, he's green body and then black hair.
Well, that's
Right,
it.
That's what he's
too.
like.
But he's not Little Mac in. It's not Little Mac in the arcade. I think it's just the player.
You name him
characters.
yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they went with nondescript green hair, the sort of everyman color that you associate.
The most typical of hair colors.
It's awful. It's such an ugly sprite. Question 3. Little Mac makes his debut on the home console version of Punch-Out, but in which iteration of Smash Brothers did he debut?
Oh, 8
Josh,
milliseconds.
8 milliseconds. Come on, Josh. Which Smash Brothers, Josh?
Brawl.
There's a technicality there.
Oh,
Because he was an assist trophy.
Yeah, I assumed debut, right? Like, that's when he first appeared in Smash Brothers.
Oh, you're right.
Although, did he technically first appear in Melee as a trophy?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't a trophy in Melee.
Oh, was he not? Okay.
No.
How wasn't he a trophy? How?
He wasn't a trophy. Famicom Detective Club was too important back then.
How does Josh have just... Josh is just a Nintendo encyclopedia. It's terrifying. I'm going to... Do you know what? You've shown me up there, Josh. I'm going to give it to you because he did technically make his debut in Smash Bros. Brawl. You are correct. I should have been more specific and said as a playable character. So well done. Well done to you. Question 4. What Nintendo icon makes a cameo as a surprise fighter in Wii Punch-Out? John.
I buzzed in way before you finished that question. It's Donkey Kong.
It
though.
is. That was an easy... I think I was worried that it was going to be too hard, so I thought I'd circle back to a slightly easier one. Did you ever fight Donkey Kong on the Wii?
I did. I've not done it in a long time, but I remember it being brutal.
Yeah. I don't think I ever beat Donkey Kong, but I think I fought him.
Yeah, it makes me kind of want just more Nintendo characters to punch about in Punch-Out.
Oh, yes. Yeah, me too. I hope that's part of your pitch.
Maybe.
I never reached Donkey Kong. I just couldn't. I lacked the reflexes, I'm afraid. Yes, Donkey Kong, a playable, not a playable character, a fightable character in Wii Punch-Out. All right, guys, final question of Fastest Finger First. Wow, I've written a lot to say. Punch-Out was an arcade hit for Nintendo, but what was the name of a spin-off arcade unit that used the same engine? Baby. Josh.
It was arm wrestling.
It was arm wrestling. Now, I'm going to assume that both of you have never played this game.
I have, actually.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
How?
I have found it in one random arcade once.
No.
And that arcade is his living room.
The green screen just comes down.
It's incredible. So I looked up a little bit about it. It was the last arcade unit that Nintendo both developed and distributed. So it's like they're kind of like their legacy in terms of arcade units. What's it like, Josh?
It's weird. It's weird. I kind of want to compare it to one of those games where one of those machines where you have to punch the thing,
right?
And go really hard. So you grab the thing and then it tries to push against you, and you have to push it back against it. It's trying to replicate actual arm wrestling.
Oh my god! So I thought it'd be like some weird input thing, but it is literally trying to push your hand away.
Yeah, it's trying to. If what I remember correctly, it's trying to push back against you. It's been a while since I played it. I remember just seeing it and being like, "Oh, this is the arm wrestling game."
How much? I'm gonna post this up after the episode. I haven't looked it up, but how much do you reckon one of those cabinets will set you back now?
$500,000 maybe.
$500,000.
I might be overestimating.
I was going to say like 20, 30 grand, but
I was thinking like 15K.
I've probably completely overestimated that. So
there's somebody listening who's got one of these right now who's like, get Josh on the phone, get him on the phone. He will pay anything for this machine. All right, well that ties up the quiz. 2 points for 2. So I'm going to do, this isn't for a point, this is just to see who goes first for the next round. So we had DK in Wii Punch-Out. Who was the other planned Nintendo character that Next Level Games wanted to put in the game?
Oh.
John.
Was it Princess Peach?
It was Princess Peach. Quite glad they didn't do that, to be honest. I mean... what stage do you think they got with that? They can't have made a model, right?
I don't think
it must have just been a name on a whiteboard, and then everyone in the room went, no.
Okay.
Right. In a pitch, maybe, to a Nintendo producer, and they were like, nah.
No, thank you, guys.
No.
Well, that's still 2 points for 2, but that means John goes first now for play or pass. So obviously, remember this round, you can get 2 points if you know the answer. If you don't know the answer and you think your opponent doesn't, you can pass it to them. They can collect the 2 points, but if they don't know it, you still get your 1 point. So, John, this first question is for you. Which of the following characters made their debut in Punch-Out for the Wii? Was it Kid Quick? Was it Aaron Ryan? Or was it Disco Kid?
I feel like it's Disco Kid.
It is Disco
Yeah.
Kid. I thought
Kid Quick and Disco Kid are both mixing me up there, but yeah, Disco Kid.
That's what I was hoping. Yes, I think he's on the minor circuit. He's just before the boss, maybe.
Yes, I think that's right.
Yeah, and he's got a very obvious tell. He sort of basically goes, "Here it comes," before he goes to punch you, which is quite a big giveaway.
That's my tell too.
Yeah. I'm going to hit you.
I think as well, so obviously doing a bit of research for this episode, I think Disco Kid and Kid Quick are meant to be related, but I'm not.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think like Disco Kid's meant to be like just a new take on Kid Quick.
Right. Yes, I think perhaps the character model for Kid Quick was considered quite sort of outdated, basically. So they thought we'll give it an upgrade. All right, fair enough. This one's for you then, Josh. 4 points to 2 currently. Little Mac's canon age is revealed to us in the NES manual for Punch-Out, but how old is he? Is he 17? Is he 19? Or is he 21? You can play or pass, don't forget.
I'm gonna say he's 17.
Oh man,
that's right.
He's nailed it. He's 17 years old.
I remember Little Mac being younger than you think he is.
Yeah.
17. I mean, can you legally, professionally box at 17? In Nintendo's world, you can. It's fine. Right.
It's fine. There's no weight classes in this video game boxing association anyway.
Yeah.
So what does age matter?
Yeah, right. Question 3. So, John, this one's for you. I'm going to give you no options this time.
Okay.
Because you guys are too good at this. So, Super Punch-Out has the biggest roster of opponents for the player to take on, but how many opponents are there? So this is in Super Punch-Out.
I know that there's 12 in the NES game, so it's more than that. I don't know how many Wii has total, but not many more than NES. So I'm going to say 16.
John, nailed it. 16.
Oh, really? Oh, whoa, okay.
Wow.
16. Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's actually more than 12 in the NES. I think there's 4 in the minor circuit, 4 in the major circuit, 5 in, is that right? 5 in the world circuit? And then Mike Tyson.
Man.
So there's 14.
Okay.
Or Mr.
How many's in
Mr. Dream.
Mr. Dream. How many's in Wii then? I was thinking 16 for Wii, but I guess I've missed.
Wii's 14, I think. I think you've got 4 minor, 4 major, 5 world, and then Donkey Kong. I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure I've done that right. Now, and I know that Josh is going to get this next question right because he's already answered it.
Oh, phew.
Didn't make it hard enough. Little Mac competes in the minor, major, and world circuit of the WVBA. What does the WVBA stand for?
The World Video Boxing Association.
You literally said it 2 minutes ago. Yeah.
And I'm glad I got it right when I said it.
It's always there's so much pressure when someone says, "You know this, you've already said it." You're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's
you're
true."
like,
That.
oh.
That's true.
Start sweating.
The two of you are absolutely unflap. I'm going to have to start making these quizzes. The thing is, I don't know this much about the games, so I'm going to have to
I didn't think I knew this much about the games, to be honest.
as if you knew the acronym for the Boxing Association off by heart. That is absolutely insane. I mean, I can't. Can I do another tiebreaker question? I don't know if I know. Okay, I'm going to reset this buzzer. I'm going to do a fastest finger first tiebreaker question that I'm going to make up right now.
All right.
Okay. Which? Oh God. Okay, Josh, do you know the answer? He's buzzed in.
I accidentally...
What he said was which?
Just guess. Just guess and see if you get it right. Just guess and see if you get it right, please. Please. Just guess anything to do with it. It's quite an easy
Nintendo
question.
fan club.
It's not right. John, let's see if you can steal this question. It's an easy one. What character wears a crown?
King Hippo.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally behind me, but yeah. King Hippo.
You had a really good answer there, though, John.
It was like, oh God, what? Think of something.
Well, Josh may have handed it to him, but John does win the quiz this week. Well done, Josh. Very good.
Thank you.
And with the
overestimated my own strength in putting my hand down on the
if you'd got it after which,
bar.
it would have been incredible. To be fair. Now the undercard is done and dusted. It's time to head off to the main event. So yes, the series we are talking about today is Punch-Out! A quick history lesson for those who don't know. Punch-Out! Is a Nintendo arcade classic where you play as a plucky boxer, working their way through various circuits and opponents to become the champion of the World Video Boxing Association. Gameplay involves observing patterns in your opponent's attacks and timing dodges or counters to these to land blows of your own. The game famously came to the NES as Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! A sequel followed on the SNES before it went dark for 15 years. It was then resurrected in 2009 by Next Level Games on the Wii, with characters and gameplay close to its roots, but has now had a 16-year hiatus since then. So guys, what's your experience of the Punch-Out! Series? I know you're both big fans. Josh, when did you first play the game?
I think I definitely played the NES game first. But when? I'm actually not sure. I was probably the Wii Virtual Console, because I didn't grow up with NES. I started with SNES.
Yeah.
And I definitely didn't have I still don't have Super Punch-Out! For it. So it must have been the Wii Virtual Console where I first played it.
Right.
But I would have only bought it because I already knew what it was. So there at some point I must have heard about Punch-Out!
Yeah.
I mean, it was good, but I wasn't very good at it. I think the game that made me a fan of Punch-Out! Was definitely the Wii one.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a rock hard game, the NES one. I had the SNES one when I was younger. How about you, John? Did you sort of start at the same point, or was your
I'm going to be super boring. Almost the exact same. So the Wii Virtual Console was just this big portal to playing older Nintendo games for me. And I was on this big Mario kick, just playing all these Mario games I'd never played before. And I remember seeing Punch-Out! On the list, and like the screenshot was like Mario as a referee.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a Mario game, and so I downloaded that. And I just didn't really get it. I think I beat Glass Joe, and then I couldn't really understand the game. And so it lay dormant for a while until the Wii game came along, and I played that and fully understood it. Went back to play the NES game, and I think today I probably regard Punch-Out! NES as maybe the best game on that system. I think it's aged gloriously.
Yeah.
It might be the best NES game.
It looks great for an NES game. The gameplay is super tight. The episode that's just gone out recently is the Ice Climbers episode, which we spoke about, John, and the gameplay on that is very wibbly wobbly. But Punch-Out! Is really like you feel really precise. And again, it's that thing of knowing when you mess up on Punch-Out, it's your fault. It's not the game's fault. And that's always like, for a game like that, it's fantastic. I think you've described it before as like as a puzzle game as well, right? I mean, essentially, it's a puzzle game.
It is, yeah. It's all about like pattern memorization and then like learning how to react to the different like animations that they pull off.
It's puzzle and rhythm at the same time.
Yeah.
I sometimes see people say that ARMS is like the spiritual successor to Punch-Out, and they really have nothing in common besides punching.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, I mean, Teleroboxer on the Virtual Boy is a sort of closer sort of,
Far closer,
cousin,
Yeah, far closer.
and everybody knows Teleroboxer. But yes, classic game. So I had it on the SNES. I was very bad at it. It was just, my brothers enjoyed it. I would just get battered because I was quite young and I just couldn't react fast enough. But I loved the Wii version when it came out. I think it's a fantastic game. I actually dug it out and played a bit today before doing this. And the reason we're talking about Punch-Out today is, relatively recently in the news, it was reported Imran Khan saying, he got a Next Level employee drunk in a bar, and they said, there's not going to be any more Punch-Out because the reception to some of the characters wasn't fantastic. Subsequently, employees of Next Level Games have said, no, that's not true. Whichever way you fall on that, what were your feelings about kind of the Wii version of Punch-Out and how it played and the representation of characters there?
In terms of like the representation of characters, I actually think that the Wii version of Punch-Out handled it really well. Like, one of the features of it that's really cool is how every fighter speaks in their own language.
Yeah.
Like, and it's all accurate. Like, it's not like fake made up French
gobbledygook.
Like, we beget or stuff like that.
Like John's woman on the bicycle. Oh, she wasn't on the bicycle. Oh no! Yes, John's baguette woman. Yes, yeah.
So like, and that's like a really cool attention to detail and stuff. And I know that a lot of those characters, like, they are stereotypes, but I wouldn't really call them like offensive stereotypes. I think that's like a very big difference between them. There's definitely some, you could argue, border that line. Like, I can see some people getting offended by Great Tiger or King Hippo. But like, I know people who are Irish who think Aaron Ryan is like 100% it. I find him very, very funny.
Yeah.
How about knocking out a French man and croissants falling out of him? Like, it's obviously very stereotypical. But I don't actually remember there being much controversy about the game when it released.
Yeah, Nintendo were willing to re-release it on the Wii U. Like, it was one of the first games they had as we're bringing Wii games to the Wii U. It's Punch-Out, Skyward Sword, and Prime Trilogy?
Something like that.
Those three? Yeah. Oh, no, it's Galaxy 2, not Skyward Sword. Galaxy 2, Punch-Out, and Prime Trilogy. These were the big ones. So if they got that much bad feedback about it, I'd have assumed they wouldn't touch it again. Yeah. And that's just not been the case.
It's strange, isn't it? I mean, I think it's difficult because, I am a straight white man and, I am a sort of a third generation immigrant from both sides of my families, although you wouldn't necessarily tell that from looking at me. So, it's hard to kind of discuss those kind of things. But for me, I think the problem is perhaps like the vignettes. They were kind of like, they play like little images of each fighter before you fight them. And they're kind of packed with, stereotypes in that way. But I did like
the music as well. They play clips that are like the instruments are just stereotypes of their countries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So those things, I would say I can kind of see people taking umbrage with that. On the sort of flip side of it, you go, well, the thing is, like you said, Josh, they speak in their own language. And actually, it's quite nice that they're kind of packed with character and they're not kind of just bland, forgettable characters. They are characters that in certain ways represent where they're from or where they grew up, that kind of thing. And I actually think that's a sort of, in terms of diversity, is a positive thing in the game, that it's not just all fighters who all look the same or are all kind of forgettable,
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could play the game with the with a nunchuck and Wiimote, but you could also play it with a balance board. Did you guys ever balance board Punch Out?
I don't think I did. I think I should though. I should try this.
Yeah.
I don't think I did either. I don't think I'd ever bothered to get it out.
I didn't have a balance
mess
board.
around with it.
I mean, I assume you literally lean.
Yeah, I think that's
it must be it.
That's mad. Who?
Yeah, I'm really curious now. That I want to try this.
Have you got a balance board?
I do. There's also Monkey Ball Step and Roll. There was a Monkey Ball game that used the balance board.
Time to make a video about all the balance board games. Just other than Wii Fit.
Just marking the time there. It only took John 31 minutes to mention Monkey Ball. So well done, John.
Oh, that is impressive in the Punch Out discussion.
That's slow for you. No, I never tried it, but I did. So I did play it a bit today, and it's that thing, and it is good. It's good, and it is tight. You press the stick forward to do jabs. You let go of it to sort of hook. You can duck, but it's the game didn't feel very sort of visceral, if that makes sense. Like I sort of. It felt like it was maybe lacking something that the earlier iterations had. I don't know if you felt that way, John, as well?
In some regards, yeah. The animation work is really good in the Wii game. And I think that does lend itself to reading cues and feeling that kind of impact sometimes. But I think I get what you're saying, though, especially when you're already familiar with the older ones. Because the Wii game is very much... more of a refresh of the NES game. It doesn't do that much new. So if you've already experienced those ones, it's kind of like, this is a great way to play it, but it's not exactly the next big step for Punch-Out.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, see, I didn't play the NES one that much, to be completely honest. I much prefer the Wii one and how it does, but that is one of the issues I have with the Wii one, is it is very much just the NES one, but nicer.
Yeah.
Like, better animations. It's because it's all the same characters, and then they took, like, a couple from Super Punch-Out to fill out the roster, like Aaron Ryan, and then Disco Kid's obviously the only new character, but he's possibly based on Kid Quick.
Yeah.
So even then, that's like half-half.
Yeah, and I do like that they've stuck to the roots, because particularly because of that 15-year hiatus, it would have been an introduction for so many people. We've praised Next Level Games on this podcast a lot. They make really good and very beautiful games. I think it's, in terms of how it looks, like, obviously it doesn't look incredible, but it's held up quite well as well, because they went for a sort of cel-shaded art style. So I think even digging it out today on the Wii and being like, you know what, it's not too bad looking, actually.
Yeah, you can definitely sort of see how they went from there, or going through the Luigi's Mansion series. So like Luigi's Mansion 3, they have a very strong grasp over animation.
Yes.
And how to make it look
especially
good.
with 3. 3 and Strikers Battle League are both some of the best animation in the industry.
Yeah, they're incredible.
And they already did a great job in Punch-Out, so I can't imagine what they would be like if they returned like in this era.
Oh, well,
so good.
Well, why don't we... I mean, I wanted to speak about arm wrestling as well, but we've sort of touched on it. I mean, how bizarre that they took Punch-Out and went, we're gonna do arm wrestling with this. But we've touched on it. We don't need to worry about it. I am curious to see if it comes up in anybody's pictures. But, John, you won the quiz, so that makes you the new president of Nintendo. But we are the board, and we insist that you bring back Punch-Out and you make it a great big success. So please tell us, how are you going to do that?
I take out the whiteboard, get my black marker, and write the words, Arm Wrestling 2. No, let's start again. Yes! So, this is an idea I've had for like 10 years at this point.
Oh, great.
So it's not a remarkable idea. It's kind of iterative. However, I think this could bring the series forward, though.
Okay.
So I said earlier that Punch-Out Wii was more of a reimagining of the NES game. It's great, but it from Punch-Out to Super Punch-Out to Punch-Out Wii, the series hasn't really evolved that much in terms of its roster and what it sets out to do. I think the core Punch-Out gameplay is still remarkable. We're still going to go with that cue-based puzzle rhythm gameplay. That is the core of Punch-Out, and that's going to continue to be the case. However, the roster, that's where it sort of becomes a bit stale. How many times can you fight Glass Joe again and again and again? So we're not having any of them back. This not only gets rid of the stereotype potential issues that may or may not exist, but we are going to take the series to outer space with Punch-Out: The Ring of Saturn, which is, I think it's a good title.
Yeah.
So we're going to the planet Saturn, and Little Mac is going to be fighting not humans, but interstellar species. We're having aliens in here. Not only are we having these wacky alien designs that can go in any direction in terms of scale or shape or whatever else, but we're also going to invite some other Nintendo aliens to join the fray.
Excellent.
You're going to be punching Ridley. You're going to be punching...
Finally.
You'll be punching Slippy Toad. Lots of Nintendo space creatures are going to be in here.
Oh, poor
And you'll be-
Slippy.
Is he the Glass Joe for this game?
But that's my general pitch. We're keeping the gameplay as basically it's going to mirror the Wii game in terms of the actual feel and the gameplay. But we're going to have next level games' modern animation work applied to this. It's going to be stunning. We're going to get mocap artists in here who are going to pretend to be aliens.
You're giving
We're going
yourself
to put
a
them
job.
on stilts. I'm just pitching for work now. And one thing that I thought about before as well is Punch-Out has done multiplayer before. It was discovered recently that Super Punch-Out has a hidden multiplayer mode through a
Really?
cheat code.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
Punch-Out Wii also has multiplayer. It's never been a strength, though, because Punch-Out is about these predetermined, readable cues. And so how do you do that with multiplayer? And I think what the solution they came up to is you can't really. However, one thing we can do is co-op play. I said that so weirdly, co-op play. And the way we're doing this is it's local, and one player holds the left Joy-Con, and the other player holds the right Joy-Con. And you are incentivized to fight as one person. You are both Little Mac. And you
Amazing.
have to control the left arm or the right
Nice.
arm. One of you has a left tilt, the other has right tilt. So you've got to beat one person within two bodies. That's how multiplayer is going to play out. So we still have those very miraculously designed fights. Still has all those cues. We're not fighting other players, but you've got to work together and communicate. And you can do this via online with the Nintendo Switch Online app as well, if you
Oh
desire.
my god. Lag's not going to be an issue with that.
No way. But that's the general pitch, though. Punch-Out in space.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
That sounds good. Are we sort of going classic structure? Are there circuits? Are there like, inner ring, middle ring, outer ring? What's the progression system through the game?
Yeah, so we're starting with we're going to the outer ring. There's the middle ring. There's the
I've got to stop giving you answers to questions that I ask.
that's what I have in mind. Yeah, we'll be going through the circuit still as usual. Although we're also going to be flying through space. Little Mac has a spaceship in this game which he uses to get around Saturn.
Yeah, hang on. Sorry. I should have asked this question first. How does Little Mac get there? What's the preamble for this game?
So he just sort of wakes up and he goes, "Oh, where am I?" And he looks out the window and he doesn't see New York City. He doesn't see anything he recognizes. He just sees space. He just sees stars.
Great.
And the only thing he knows is that he has to punch his way out,
Brilliant.
or punch
brilliant.
out, I should say.
No Doc Louis.
Hey, I was going to say, is Doc Lewis there?
Well, then he sees he hears like a voice who goes, "Hey Mac," and he looks around the corner on the screen. There he is. He says, "What are you doing out of space?" And he helps you try and find your way home. He says, "The only way you can get out of here is to beat up all the aliens." And then so you do that, and he tries to locate your coordinates on the radar, because he also has a rocket which he can use to rescue you, but he doesn't know where you are.
On
And
the
the only way to
radar?
get those coordinates to him is to beat the circuits.
Brilliant. Okay.
Brilliant. Nice. The stakes are high.
So there is zero explanation of how he's there.
And
He's
your
just
ship has
there.
a countdown as well, and you don't know what's going to happen, but you feel like it's going to explode when it reaches 0. So you've got to clear this
proper
circuit.
Pikmin day or night cycle thing going
John,
on.
there's so much.
You have 30 days.
I try and write a concise pitch as people give me their games, and there's just I've just like written a small essay about this game.
It's relatively safe though in its core. It's Punch Out Wii again, but in space.
Okay, so if we're talking Punch Out Wii, are we talking a Joy-Con in each hand, like sort of nunchuck Wiimote style? What's the control method?
We've got optional controls. Yeah, so you can have motion controls. You can have a Joy-Con in each hand if you desire. You can put the wrist straps, the leg straps even from Ring Fit Adventure, which are also in Switch Sports.
Brilliant.
You can use that to lean around as well.
It's like using the balance board.
Yeah, exactly, like using the balance board.
Balance board
So
adapter.
that's optional. But we've also just got traditional Punch Out, where you can use the sticks and the buttons to dodge and punch.
Okay. Josh, any questions for John?
It's just there's no questions.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I'm wondering is, will Mac punch a planet at some point in this? Like miss,
or at
and,
least
like,
a moon.
Punch Saturn,
Punch a planet,
and just boom,
just drifts through space really slowly because he's not. The momentum carries it forward.
pushes it out of the circulation.
in the final
the
fight,
rotation.
he is up against just a planet with boxing gloves on,
my God.
and he's Little Mac. He cannot fight this thing. However, he becomes Giga Mac. He
Brilliant.
goes
There
a
he
billion
is.
times in size, and he's just going to punch this planet to smithereens.
The problem as well is that
He will punch a planet.
Saturn is the lightest planet, so if he punches it hard enough, he's whacking the whole solar system. I mean, basically, he's going to end life in the solar system. Is the kind of end game.
So he'll punch
If
this
anyone
planet,
can
and
do
will,
it's Mac.
the planet will just ricochet into all the other planets until there's nothing left in the solar system.
Oh, snooker table.
Oh my God. Okay. So we have still a cue-based puzzle rhythm classic gameplay. Little Mac he is woken up in space. He doesn't know how. Doc Lewis is there advising him. How many fights are we talking? Are we doing more? Are we doing 14, 15, 16, 20, 24? How many bouts does he have to go through?
We're going to have 20 of them.
Ooh. Okay.
However, for replay value, you can also mix and match these 20. So you can create your own boxer with attributes from all the other boxers.
Interesting.
So, like Ridley's body with Slippy's head.
Exactly.
That
Fits.
And yeah, so you can just mix and match their body parts, and with that comes also some of their abilities. So you can have Slippy with the ability of Ridley, where you can just grab the boxer and drag them against the wall.
Hang on, who's doing this, John? Does Little Mac have some sort of like horror body shop where he can just
It's on the ship.
Okay, so once he defeats a fighter, he can then basically mutilate
He keeps them.
and then,
He abducts the fighters.
oh my God!
And every time you beat a battle, you're back at the ship. It's like your hub, and you just get to see your trophies of kidnapped boxers.
This is horrible.
And you can put them in a machine and change their parts.
So, Slippy, where are you? It's just his little head's there. Okay. So Mac has basically become a bounty hunter. I mean, he's a space bounty
Not out of
hunter.
choice though. He has to. It's for survival.
Does he fight Samus? Yeah. If he's a space bounty hunter, does he fight Samus Aran? No. Not happy on that crossover.
He fights Ridley. No, Samus isn't interested in
that answers
in
that.
boxing.
Done. Okay, all right. Okay, so he's fighting some Nintendo aliens. We've got Slippy and Ridley. Who else is there? I want names.
Okay, we've got Omega Metroid.
Which one was Omega? Oh, we did this in the Mario Galaxy chat. I can't go through all the Metroids again. Omega Metroid, fine.
Yeah.
One of the ones with legs.
Yeah,
fine.
one of the ones.
One of the ones with legs.
One of the ones with legs.
Okay.
We've got Luma. Punching a damn Luma. Yeah.
Oh, what about the big Luma with the? You've got to
Lava.
fill up with the the star bits. They've got the little things, right? They can
Yeah.
smack him with them.
Yeah.
The big ones.
And when you defeat them, he just explodes.
Oh, okay. I like that one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Creates a new galaxy every time.
And then you punch the galaxy.
No, please, not more punching interstellar objects, please. Anybody else? I mean, does he fight? Oh, he's got to fight Pigma. Surely everybody wants to smack Pigma in the face.
Oh yeah, we're gonna fight Pigma for sure, for sure.
And Andros with his hands, his little floating hands.
Yeah, he's an ideal one. We don't get too Star Foxy with this.
Well, that's true.
So we're not going to pull too many of them.
It's not a crossover.
No, but it's not a crossover. But Andros would be a good boxer. Yeah.
Any Pikmin? They're spacefaring.
They are.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, just a big Pikmin. Just a big red Pikmin.
Pikman.
What about
He's Pikman.
Gigapick? That would be another one. All right, and what about your original? So you said next level games, yeah?
Yeah, next level games are back for this.
So in terms of like the original characters, I imagine they would make some great original characters as well. So what's like? Are you sort of seeing a particular art style? What kind of characters? Are the rest of the characters in a cohesive universe or like an alien race? What's the kind of visual thing you're picturing?
Yeah, so we are doing a brand new art style for this, and I envision it kind of like Mario Galaxy in a way, where it's very intentionally lit in a way to sort of look realistic, while also having that sort of stylized, cartoony flair to the core models themselves. But the lighting's realistic. And all the aliens, they're abstract. You'll still be able to like recognize like heads and arms and things, but the actual designs themselves are going to be pretty out there. But designed in a way that emphasize their tells, more so than a human even could. We're going beyond human restraints here.
Okay. Now, what kind of tells are you imagining? Like, I'm going to pitch like an amorphous blob for you. So what's the fighting pattern going to be like for that?
Well, he doesn't have a mouth, this blob. So how does he breathe? And the way that they breathe is they sort of go.
Brilliant.
So whenever, for those who are listening, they just sort of go up and down. They squish together a little bit.
For anybody just listening,
so,
I beg you, please watch John just turn into a marshmallow like in front of your eyes. Incredible. I can see why you got into mocap, John, because I was transported to Saturn in that moment.
Exactly. That's what everyone says when they see me squish like that.
Oh my God.
So yeah, they're like usual human tells, like breathing, moving, swaying. The aliens might not necessarily do that stuff. Some of them may, but other ones will have completely out there tells. And as a human being, you'll think, that's not how human bodies act. He's about to punch me. And that's how you'll know.
All right. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah,
Josh, any last questions for John?
No, I mean, it sounds pretty solid.
Yeah.
So it sounds pretty good. I hope you get rocket punches at some point. You're in space. I'm picturing a finale as grand as Kirby Planet Robobot. With Doc Lewis in his rocket ship at the end.
He's found you.
He combines with Max boxing glove.
I mean, is his rocket ship bicycle powered as well? Is he just on his little bike inside, just sort of steering it through space? Do you fight Kirby? Is Kirby in there? We forgot about Kirby. He's an alien.
Would Kirby inhale Little Mac and become Little Mac?
And the mirror match.
That would be great. That would be a great final boss. Surely.
Yeah.
I'm
you know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not turning this down like Sandwich. Yeah, Kirby's there.
Kirby's in there. Kirby's our boy. Okay, well, that's. I think that wraps up for me. So, John, unless there's anything you'd like to add, Josh, you are the next president of Nintendo, but we're still the board, and we still demand that you bring back Punch-Out. So, please tell us, how are you going to do it?
All right. Okay. So I kind of agree with what John had pitched there. You know, in terms of the gameplay stuff, Punch-Out it did it pretty well. I think the general formula of Punch-Out is rock solid. It's a puzzle game, so all you really need to do is change up like all the different puzzles. So get rid of all the previous characters. We're getting them all out there. We're gonna have a new cast of characters, but we need to do a bit more to appeal to people.
Okay.
Like appeal to a wider market. So don't tell anyone don't be too loud about this, but we're gonna make it woke. We're gonna.
Hello, Farage. I've got a problem here. Tell me.
It's time for the women's boxing. We're gonna get Doc Lewis's daughter as the main character.
Oh,
We're gonna have Little Mac be her teacher. We're gonna do a Creed situation here.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And instead of it being all the stereotypes of all the men across the world, we're doing the women this time instead.
Brilliant.
I'm gonna get them all there. We're gonna have the French girl is gonna be like the sort of pompous one with the cigarettes and like the long cigarettes.
So not
beret, looking down on her nose. She's not the weak one this
so
time.
not too woke, Josh, because you're going straight back into stereotypes here.
Oh no.
I thought it was going to be John's
Tasteful
baguette woman, but that's fine. Go on. Okay, yeah. So we've got the French woman with her cigarette. Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, we're gonna have the Danish woman, the big like opera singer type. With the Viking crown. We're gonna have the dancing queen from Sweden. It's like the big ABBA reference.
Okay.
We can have like America's got two choices, right? We can either go for like a Paris Hilton type, or we can do for like a cheerleader type.
Excellent.
Or a cowgirl type. There's loads of choices we can go for. We can have a VTuber for Japan. We can have if you've been to Italy, you get the old lady with the rolling pin and the...
Josh, this is
just like...
It's so funny because before this, we were like, what are they going to do about the stereotypes? And Josh like, they're going to go in.
We're going to turn it up to 11. Hey, did you like pizza pasta? Wait till you hear about this one. Oh my god. Okay. All right. So it's a Punch-Out sequel. Doc Lewis's daughter. Has she got a name, this woman?
Doc Louise.
Excellent. Doc Louise. Incredible.
There we go.
I feel like you've just pulled out your ass, Josh. I'm not going to lie.
No.
Not
here.
No, I've been thinking about this for years.
Okay, all right. And then, is it the same kind of formula? Are you working your way through the circuits? I mean, is it still the WVBA?
It's similar to the first one. It's the WWVBA.
Yep. Okay. Lovely.
The World Women's Video Boxing. And there will be some cool. I know I said we'll throw out every character, but there will be some. We're going to have Queen Hippo. She's going to be there. She's King Hippo's wife. She looks exactly like him, but she's got pigtails and a bra on. Otherwise, it's the same.
Josh, this is the most unwoke game I've ever.
Why does his wife look exactly like him? Why not his sister?
This is unbelievable.
The people they say, people who look similar attract. What can I say?
Brilliant. Oh my god.
We're gonna have some because Bold Bull has been in every single Punch-Out game.
Yeah.
And so we need to keep that going as well.
But is it
so?
Oh, no,
it's
go on.
It's still Bold Bull. We're just gonna welcome him through his transition.
Nice.
So.
I was going to say, because he actually features in arm wrestling as well, right?
He's in arm wrestling. He's in every single one.
He's called like Mask X or something. But
they tie the entire series together.
So I thought he might just be wearing a little wig, but you want him to fully transition.
Yeah. Excellent. We're gonna give him a proper journey, like a real story to follow.
Okay.
Will they be in different parts of their transition through each circuit?
Well, you know how like when you beat the first circuit of Punch-Out, you then do it again, but a lot harder.
Yes.
There you go.
And we see their journey as we
see
going.
Their journey through that as well. Okay. And see, unlike John, I am going to have Samus in mind.
Oh, that. Yeah.
She's the last one. Yes. She's the bonus fight at the end.
Like in suit.
Maybe at the start, or maybe she puts the suit on at the halfway mark. Like you fight her normally, and then she's like, "I've had enough of this," and then the power suit comes on, and you're dodging blasts.
Excellent.
They don't have boxing in space, so she doesn't know the rules.
She starts dropping bombs and.
What about? Do you turn into Giga Louise, or is that just purely a Wii Punch-Out thing?
I don't know. That's a Mac thing.
That's a Mac thing.
That's a Mac thing. Yeah.
So
we'll have multiplayer though.
My question is then, what sets it apart in terms of its gameplay, or is it going to be just pure?
So
Punch-Out
most
gameplay?
of the gameplay is pure. We're going to work a bit on the multiplayer. Maybe we'll let you even play as some of the other characters in multiplayer. Like increase that. But the way we're going to unlock those characters is we're going to make Punch-Out appeal on a character level. So, because a lot of people remember Punch-Out on the character basis, like, people like Glass Joe, people like Piston Honda, people like Aaron Ryan and stuff. They remember them as characters. But people only ever remember the fights and the little tiny vignettes that you get beforehand. Maybe if you're a mega nerd and you've read, like, the Punch-Out comics from Nintendo Power, you've seen Little Mac and Piston Honda beat up gangsters in the streets. You might have a bit more going on there. But that's not in-game, so that doesn't really count. Right. But, like, people like this sort of stuff. So what I've seen from games like, Helltaker, which isn't a Nintendo game, but it thrives off of just marketing its characters. We're going to add, a support system to the game where you do the challenges from Punch-Out Wii, and every time you complete a challenge, you unlock, like, a new, I guess, Fire Emblem-style support conversation in the locker room.
Oh, that's
for each
cool.
of the fighters. Yeah. So you can sit there, like, in between matches and, like, chat up the other boxers, and you get to learn them and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know if I'd go as far as a dating sim, but we're going to have, like, a proper confidant system going on here, where you build up your relationship with the character, and you get to learn more about them, and you get these, like, first-person locker room chats, maybe a bit of banter between them before and after matches.
If I may interrupt just for a second. John, didn't you pitch dating sim elements in Murasami Castle last week?
Yeah, I did.
What is with you guys?
I think this isn't a bad idea, though.
No.
He's right. Like, the boxers in Punch-Out are
terrible.
The boxers in Punch-Out are distinct characters, though, but you never really get to explore them. So being able to get one-on-one with them is a good idea.
I love the idea. Mine doesn't have gacha mechanics, so you're not forced to go through all that for a chance.
No, I really like this. So, but, like, what's the? I think that's really nice, because then you even if you are leaning into those stereotypes, they are actually fully fledged characters, right? So
yeah, exactly.
What's the kind of end game with that, though? Do you so you have to sort of complete their story to be able to then unlock them and play with them in multiplayer?
Yeah, that's it. So to unlock them in the multiplayer mode, you have to complete their story, and the further you, like, complete the challenges and get further along, like, through their, like, I guess, let's think of it like Persona, right? There's, like, 10 levels. And, like, when you hit certain milestones, like, dialogue might change. The in-between round dialogues might change as they become close. They actually become friends and get to know each other. Maybe they'll become less vicious and a bit more friendly banter. Maybe you can unlock different outfits to put to, like, pick the boxes in, customize them. I've been playing fitness boxing recently, and you can dress the trainers up in that. So maybe you can do the same thing here. And that's another gameplay idea. We're going to put fitness boxing in this game.
Excellent.
Just a fitness boxing side mission where Little Mac, like, teaches you how to be fit. Maybe or Doc Lewis. Maybe that's where Doc Lewis comes into it, because Mac's a trainer now.
Excellent.
You can go to the gym and get Doc Lewis to train you in fitness boxing. And you do it to, like, a remix of all the different Punch-Out themes.
Like a mini game. Right?
Yeah. Like, how they updated Ring Fit Adventure with the rhythm game. Yeah. Like, randomly.
Yeah.
Same thing in Punch-Out. But
when you finish it, there's like an eShop link to Fitness Boxing 3.
Yeah.
Your prize is purchasing this game.
Yeah, if you want more of this.
Is it, I can't remember, is it Next Level Games for you as well?
Yeah, Next Level Games as well. I don't think I'd want anyone else working on Punch-Out anymore, to be honest. They did such a solid job.
That's fantastic. All right, and then so there's not a story mode for each character, but they are in the multiplayer. Do they control sort of very differently in multiplayer, or? Because obviously, Punch-Out is a complicated game in some respects in terms of pattern recognition and timing, but in terms of your moveset, it is quite straightforward. So, like, what's the difference there?
I think characters might have certain gimmicks they can pull off.
Okay.
Like, you'd have to balance it, right? You don't want it to be too powerful.
Right.
But I think you can still have some type of gimmicks. Like, I'm imagining the opera singer woman has an attack where she, like, starts singing like this, and, like, shockwaves to stun you. So you got to dodge that, and so you'd be able to do that while playing as her.
Brilliant.
But, like, you'd be limited in how often you could actually do it. Like
the star system.
You'd
right?
have the star system. Yeah.
So what is it you have in the Wii version? You have like, is it title defense or exhibition or something where you work through all the things? So like, could you do that as in one player with the characters as well? Kind of, or is that too much? Is that taking away too much from Doc Louise?
We can make it DLC. Make it DLC. We can charge extra because it's basically like a new game, at that point, right?
Incredible. Yeah.
So we'd have to make an entire boss battle where you go against Doc Louise.
Oh,
so
nice, yeah.
like, we're gonna have to just have that as an extra that you sell to people, and that's also something we can do. You see, we can just keep adding circuits as DLC.
Yeah,
make
nice.
it live service. They keep selling another 3 boxes.
I like
Who's
it.
going to stop us?
Every stuff, exactly. No one will. And if every single one of these has a whole support system with not quite dating but almost dating mechanics,
Oh my god.
going to sell like hotcakes.
Okay.
Fly off the shelves.
John, any more questions for Josh about this pitch?
I don't know if I have any questions. I think this is there's some really good ideas in here. I think the whole confidant system is actually genuinely a very inspired idea for Punch Out.
A title for the game? Is it still Punch Out?
It's Punch Out, but with 4 exclamation marks this time.
Okay.
Got to keep with the pattern,
Brilliant.
Doc Louise is like the funniest thing I've heard today. It's really good.
Well, I've got no more questions, so we're running low on time, so I'm gonna quickly throw out my pitch as well. You're not gonna believe this, but my game, you play as the daughter of Doc Lewis being trained by Little Mac. Seriously.
Oh, wow.
Seriously.
Oh, no.
Seriously.
What's her name?
Her name is not Doc Louise. I will admit I don't have a name for her yet, but maybe it'll come to me. It'll come to me. So I've gone for a really different game, though. A really different game. So have you guys ever played Golf Story?
Yes.
I love Golf Story. Right. Sidebar. So I want the game to be made by Sidebar Games, and I want it to have classic Punch-Out gameplay, but also basically an RPG story in there. So the game opens, you're visiting, guys, grab your hankies, you're visiting Doc's grave as his daughter, and somebody's there in a little pink tracksuit. It's Little Mac. And basically they kind of help each other work through the grief of losing Doc. And she wants to become the champion of the WWVBA. It's literally, I promise you, it's all in this book.
Is the word woke in your pitch as well?
No, it would be more applicable to my title, but it's not in my pitch. So the thing I really love, I love there's a lot of comedy, there's good storytelling, I like the visual style in that game. But the thing for me, so you're a new boxer and you're working through the circuits, and you can go and you take on the circuit straight away. There's like a gym where you take on these fights, but you can go and do side quests and things to gain new skills, build up your stamina, land stronger punches. Arm wrestling's back, so you can go and do arm wrestling, which sort of basically makes your arm stronger, so you can do better punches. And all the characters from Arm Wrestling Return, including the little girl with the robot monkey, Alice in Ape 3, they're in there. And I want to make use of the Joy-Cons, right? So there's like also with the arm wrestling, HD rumble, man. Can you imagine that? Like,
Yeah.
There's also with a little infrared sensor, there's you can do thumb wars. I don't know what that builds up, but there's some sort of thumb war game that you can play. There is, so you complete that circuit. There's like a home building element, so as you get more money building the circuits, you can go and buy furniture and like build up your house. So you can go like there and train. There's like skipping and stuff that you can do there with the Joy-Cons. So
the skip rope jump game from COVID.
Jump rope
exactly.
challenge.
Yeah. That sort of basically makes a return to be like a sort of daily training thing you can do if you want. There is tie-ins with like the ring con and all that kind of stuff if you want to. And you work your way through the circuit, and the characters are going to return. But they're all older, right? They're all retired boxers. So some of them have their daughters who are fighting in the league. Some of them are just training people. One of them's opened a deli or whatever, and you happen to sort of bump into them. And the thing I found quite difficult about Punch-Out as a kid, and even going back to it on the Wii, was that the game doesn't tell you very much, right? You have to, and it's kind of the nice thing about it. You kind of have to work things out, but also it can be frustrating. Land a one-hit KO. It's like, I'm not going to spend 8 hours trying to figure out how to one-hit KO this person. And I don't necessarily want to look it up. I want to be able to discover it. So, you can talk to NPCs and glean the information like, hey, I've noticed when this person does this, they're wide open. Better dialogue than that. But, you can take the time and complete these quests to actually sort of gain knowledge to take on these fights. So then, you become the world champion. What happens after that? Home building, you've got a lovely big place to live now. And then after that, there's also, you can do classic punch-outs. So if you're not interested in the RPG, you can just go through the fights and just, have all the skills unlocked from the start. But you'd be better equipped if you kind of learn how to do it. The game kind of teaches you by playing the game. And then after that, you've got Title Defense, right? Where once a month, there's DLC incoming. So it's free. It's free DLC for a year. But, there's maybe crossovers with other games. So there's a Capcom crossover and Balrog's daughter comes to fight.
Why is it daughters with you guys?
But I know. But
I had the one. Okay.
But I did. But the thing is, because when I was thinking about it, I was thinking it would be really fun if you could just fight Waluigi. So maybe the DLC is just fighting random people. Maybe you do actually finally get to fight Princess Peach. You fight Waluigi. You fight. Eddie Falcon from Power Stone, just like mad deep cuts, or Rue from Streets of Rage, the little kangaroo with the boxing gloves. But that keeps you coming back to the game. There's every month there's hey, there's a challenger for your belt. This is it. Take them on. So yeah, that's my pitch for the game. Any questions?
Will Doc Lewis come back as a ghost?
What, and his daughter has to beat up the ghost of her father?
He don't have to fight against him.
Right.
I was thinking a Wrinkly Kong situation.
There is if you go to sleep in your house, you can have conversations with him.
Okay.
He's sat on a cloud eating a little chocolate bar, and you have heart to hearts with him. Yeah, he'll be there. He'll be there.
It's the emotional backstory.
It's got to have that balance, right, of being funny, but also having you've got to be able to deliver a bit of an emotional gut punch.
It needs heart.
I think you could do a cool story beat there with the final boss. You get knocked out, right? And then while you're knocked out temporarily, you see the ghost of your father, Doc Lewis. He's like, "You got to get up. You got to
get up, Louise."
And because of that pep talk. You're not knocked out anymore, and you get another chance to beat up the final boss.
I like that. Maybe there's some sort of side quest that can unlock maybe there's a medium, because I think we go lean into
the
stereotypes here
and there. Quest.
Maybe it's one of the characters from the old game, but that could be a skill that you unlock. The ghost of your dad spurring you on. I think she's got to be called Louise. It's too good not to do it. Her name's Louise. Yeah. Any questions, John?
Do you anticipate killing off Doc Lewis to go down well with the fans?
Yeah. Do you know what? I've had a chat in an earlier episode. There isn't enough death in games. There's not. It's a part of life. And actually, I have no problem with moving the story forward, and Little Mac taking on that role. I think there's quite a lot of pathos in that, and I think Punch-Out is on its surface a very silly game. It's very silly, but I quite like the idea of sort of giving it some embracing that, and you can have characters that do lean into tropes as long as you can interact with them and that kind of thing. But giving it a bit of heart as well. I quite like that.
I was going to say, how do you move around? You described Golf Story, so is there actually you walk around the sort of overworld rather than it will be in menus?
So top down, all set in the Bronx. So you walk around kind of New York, like a Nintendo version of New York.
Yeah.
But then the fights are classic back from behind.
Punch-Out style fighting.
Any more questions for me, guys?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Would you play it?
Yeah.
I'll play a Punch-Out RPG. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And it's called Punch-Out Story. I should have thought of a name.
Punch Story.
Punch Story.
Fist Story.
No, John. No, I will think of a better name and I will post it. But if you can think of a better name, please let us know. And let us know whose pitch you like best. Did you like John's? John's pitch 10 years in the making, Punch-Out! The Ring of Saturn. Still a cue-based puzzle rhythm classic gameplay, but in an intergalactic setting, featuring Nintendo favourites like Slippy and Ridley with unique co-op and developed by Next Level Games. Do you like Josh's Punch-Out! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. A Punch-Out sequel on the women's circuit where you play as Doc Louise, the daughter of Doc Lewis. Classic gameplay intact, but with more in-depth multiplayer and full stories for each character that you can explore, also developed by Next Level Games? Or do you like my sidebar developed RPG, driven by character progression, packed with minigames, comedy, and the classic style gameplay to boot? Or could you come up with something better yourself? Let us know in the comments below. While you're there, please do like and subscribe. If you're listening as a podcast, please rate and leave us a comment. It helps us to grow. You can find us all over on BlueSky. Links are in the description. Thank you so much for listening. And John, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
You are very welcome. Josh, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me and letting me share my incredibly good Punch-Out stuff.
They're incredibly good. I would play all of these games. I mean, Punching Saturn. Who could say no? Thank you again so much for listening. But for now, that's game over. Goodbye.